How to study for exams. I will say you need to study these three things: past exams, past exams, past exams. Listen to me. Do past exam papers. But seriously, I do mean just do the last, say, 3 years of exams, because practice exam papers are written by different people with different wording, and so you might not get used to the sort of the key words and phrases that will tell you exactly how to answer a question. So if you do VCE exams, you'll get used to the actual style and wording, whether it's y equals mx plus c, or y equals ax plus b, or y equals a plus bx. I mean, you never know with these things. So do the past VCE exams. The last 3 years are fine. I mean, I think actually the 2018 exam was written by a different person from 2016 and 17, and you could actually tell that you should be able to be that familiar with exams that you can tell the difference in the writers. And we really want to go for quality, not quantity of study. So do a few exams repeatedly rather than many exams once. So every year we get a report, and it has a little graph, and that's like, average marks. And then this is the questions. It's question 1 here, question 2 here, and then it's like, question 24 over here. And you see this kind of graph, and then like this. And this area over here is because people ran out of time. It's not that they can't get the right answers, it's that they can't get the right answers quickly. So you want to learn how to do questions quickly and efficiently. And that's why you need to do the same exam paper over and over again. So I'm going to talk about the how to use those past exam papers. And it's a 3-step process. I say open book and open time. So this means you can use any notes or resources you want, and you can take as long as you want. Then you have closed book and open time. So now you're not going to look at your notes as much as possible, but you're still going to have lots of time. And then the third one is to get efficient, is you don't look at your notes and you try and do it within the time. Now I'd like to emphasize there's some do's and don'ts here. This is genuinely the best way to study. And a lot of the reasons people don't get good marks is they just don't listen to this advice. So their choice. All right. Do work out the answers thoroughly using notes, your textbook, friends, or even a teacher, and that's what I mean by open book. Do the exam slowly. That's what I mean by open time. It may take you more than one study session. It may take you more than one day, and that's okay. You're doing slow, deep learning. Start at the beginning and finish at the end. So don't do the sort of, when you actually do the actual exam, do the easy questions first. But in the study, start at the beginning and finish at the end. And just write down notes about the things you don't know, things you don't know. All right. Don't look at the answers before trying, or even watch my videos before trying. The reason being that you won't actually memorize it, you just memorize where the answer was. So it's a bit like if you look at the meaning of a word in a dictionary, you know where to look in the dictionary rather than actually what the meaning of the word was. Don't rush or get frustrated or stare at the question for hours. A lot of you sort of think if you get some marks for how many hours you stared at a book, but I studied for hours and he didn't study for any time, and how come he got a better mark than me? Well, he was just smarter with his study. Don't skip any questions. Remember, those hard questions are hard for everybody. All right, you can see that on the past exam reports. So if you get through them, you're getting marks that other people didn't. And don't write down anything you already know. I mean, you're not going to write your notes 1 + 1 = 2. So you don't need to write down anything else you already know. All right, you're not rewriting the textbook. Oh wait, that's my next tip. Don't rewrite the textbook. You can fool yourself with a lot of busy work that you're actually achieving something, and you go, oh man, I spent ages and look at my beautiful summary notes, and you haven't actually learned anything. You haven't actually thought, you've just copied. It's quite a low-level brain activity to summarize stuff. Might work in other subjects, but in maths, and I'm also a chemistry teacher, and I'm pretty certain it's true for physics, summary notes are useless. All right, after you've done the exam step 1, you go back and do exactly the same one again. So do the exact same exam again. And keep your notes physically close but turned over or under a book or something. And the weird thing is, as you're doing the exam, and because you've done it in order, you will start to visualize and memorize what was on your notes. You're just trying to force your brain to go, now what did I write down, that stuff I didn't know? And it'll be there. And that's when it shifts into long-term memory. Now take your time on this again. don't rush it. All right. Don't look at your notes until the end of the exam. We're forcing ourselves to visualize the answers to the exams. Then you go to step 3. Close book, close time. So again, you're doing exactly the same exam paper for at least the 3rd time. All right. Later on, you might do it a 4th, 5th, 6th time. That's getting faster, and you just get to know it. I mean, I always say Usain Bolt. I mean, it's running. It's left foot, right foot. But you know what? He does it very, very slowly to get his technique right, and then he does it over and over again until he gets faster. That's exactly what you're doing. Always keep those notes physically closed because it's just a really weird way that's how your memory works. All right. Practice completing within the allotted time. That's what we mean by closed time. So now you're trying to get faster on the same thing. That's left foot, right foot faster. All right. And again, we're forcing ourselves to visualize those. How will I know I've studied enough? So I say it minimum 3 times, but you can actually, just before you go to sleep, have a hard copy of the exam and just a hard copy, not on a laptop, and just flip through it and go, I know how to answer that one. Oh, I can even remember some of the numbers. Oh, I know how to answer that one. That's what I used to do. Works. So you should get to know the point of knowing each question so well, you don't even need notes or a calculator. All right, that's what I'm talking about. You should be able to answer every question in your head. All right, and you should anticipate the tricks and laugh that you're not going to fall for them. Like, I know what you're going to do there. Classic one is that backflow sort of situation. You're going, minimum cut. I know there's going to be a backflow, and there it is. All right. Now I want you to be smart. So do attack the difficult questions and do think, what are the tricks? If you look at the examiner's reports, this is one from 2018, you can see certain traits. So for example, question 7 here, that's all over the place. That means people were guessing and had no idea whatsoever. If we look at question 5, can we see that there's an 18 and a 15 there? It looks like there's a couple of tricks there. And there's another trick over here on question 2, because look at that 15% here. So there are certain tricks. So you might want to look at that question 2 and go, oh, why did people fall for B? Or question 5, why did they fall for C or E? And question 7, why do people have no idea and we're all over the place? It's a fairly even spread. You can see guessing, you know what I mean? So you're anticipating tricks and seeing what did people fall for, and you are not going to fall for those tricks. There's a limited bag of tricks. We're also talking about Be Smart. So what else could they ask me? So especially when you get multiple choice questions, you could say, how would the other answers be correct? So yeah, sure, the answer for this question was Dijkstra algorithm, but when would it be a minimum cut or a Prim's algorithm or a critical path analysis or a Hungarian algorithm? That's not one question. That's at least 5 questions for you to think about. And do you have the notes and the answers in those situations? That's how you can use that knowledge to give you a bit of width. They're not going to ask you a question that's going to be Dijkstra's algorithm again, but maybe next time they'll ask you a question which is Prim's algorithm. Okay, we're still talking about this idea of be efficient. Means less effort, less time, but a better learning output. All right. So don't rewrite the textbook. You've already got one. There's no points for how long you study and how pretty it is. Just don't rewrite the textbook. Every year someone comes up with a massive wad of notes and here's my bound reference, and you're going, well, they already gave you a bound reference. It's called a textbook. Don't do it. It's a waste of time. It's busy work. Don't write summaries. The notes you use of the stuff you don't know, that's kind of your summary, but you don't need to go through and highlight text in your book or anything like that. That works for other subjects, but maths, and I'm going to say chemistry and physics, no. They're maths kind of subjects, so don't do that. You should be able to answer most of an exam without looking at your notes. So you need to keep doing that exam until that stuff is in your head. If you're in an exam and you're flipping through your book going, oh, where was that, where was that, where was that, then you haven't studied properly. All right, last thing, healthy body, healthy mind. Have a designated study place. So like this is the place I go and study. Make it nice and clean, nice and calm, nice and quiet. If you're feeling stressed and anxious, stop studying. You just don't learn. A stressed mind, things don't go in there. So, I don't know how to do this. I don't know how to do this. Stop. Walk away. Um, Sleep well. Keep a regular time. Don't do that thing where you study till 3 o'clock in the morning. Tired minds don't learn either. Um, don't listen to music. You're all going to go, oh, but it helps me study better. No, it doesn't. You can listen to the sort of Baroque music, but lyrics distract. Um, and if you're getting 100% on every single sack, I might make an exception. But it's amazing how many people who get like 50% and go, but music helps me study. I'm going, well, maybe you should do better than 50%. Drink lots of water. That's actually good for relieving stress because you wash away a lot of the sort of negative chemicals in your brain. It literally is just washing your brain of stress hormones. Also, it makes you get up and take a break because you have to go for a pee. Don't drink those energy drinks. They tend to give you diarrhea rather than better marks. If you watch that episode of The Inbetweeners. And get out and take the dog for a walk. If you don't have a dog, I'll lend you Boris. But get out of the house and take a break and take a walk, and you'll feel a lot better. You don't need good luck. You just need to study right.